In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 college basketball games happening on January 22nd, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 college basketball games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Utah versus Houston. The Utah Utes are heading to the Fertitta Center in Houston, Texas, where they will face off against the Houston Cougars. Utah currently sits 7th in the Big 12 standings with an overall season record of 12-5 and a conference record of 3-3. On the other hand, Houston has been dominating the Big 12, sitting at the top of the conference with an impressive season record of 14-3. and an undefeated conference record of 6-0. In their last matchup, which took place in 2023, Houston came out victorious with a final score of 76-66. Utah has been building momentum recently, winning each of their last 3 games and covering the spread in all of them. Conversely, Houston has struggled to cover the spread in their last 2 games, despite relying heavily on Jalen Roberts to carry the load for them inside. Fortunately for Utah, they have a solid defensive presence to counter Roberts, as the 6'8" All-Star has been playing exceptionally well lately. Additionally, the Utes boast a 7'1", 235-pound center in the middle in Lovering, who will make it challenging for Roberts to score efficiently around the rim. While Houston remains undefeated in Big 12 play, it's important to note that their schedule has not yet included a ranked opponent, and they have managed to avoid matchups against teams like Iowa State, Arizona, and Kansas. Even though Houston is still unbeaten in the conference, they have failed to cover the spread in their last 2 games, which raises concerns that they may be favored by more points than they should be. Utah, on the other hand, is building strong momentum as they adapt to life in their new conference. So the Utah Utes covering the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Houston will have the advantage of playing at home, and they possess 2 excellent ball handlers in Sharp and Cryer. These 2 players will help the Cougars establish the tempo early in the game. When Houston controls the pace, the game tends to slow down significantly, as they are one of the slowest teams in the country in terms of tempo. In fact, Houston ranks 360th out of 364 teams in tempo, meaning they are known for taking their time on offense and relying on a disciplined, non-aggressive defense that creates long possessions for their opponents. The Cougars are also ranked as the top defense in the nation and will undoubtedly work to limit Utah's scoring opportunities in this matchup. Utah, ranking 89th in offensive efficiency, will need to be efficient with their possessions if they hope to keep this game close. Fortunately, the Utes are not unfamiliar with playing at a slow pace and will likely be comfortable in a game that limits possessions. Utah has gone under the total in each of their last 4 games, which suggests they are accustomed to slower, more deliberate contests. Houston is currently ranked number 1 on Ken Palm's defensive rating and 360th in adjusted tempo. When we analyze the averages for both teams' offense and defense over the course of the season, as well as their performances at home and away and in their last 3 games, we project a total of 139 points for this game. Factoring in both teams' average pace of play, which stands at 72.5 possessions per game, we arrive at a final projected total of 136 points. Given the expectation of a one-sided game, we believe that the total will fall below the projected amount. Therefore, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Kansas versus TCU. On Wednesday evening, the Kansas Jayhawks will travel to Fort Worth to face the Texas Christian University Horned Frogs in what promises to be an exciting Big 12 basketball matchup. The Jayhawks emerged victorious in their only meeting with the Horned Frogs last season, securing a narrow 83-81 win. Historically, Kansas has performed well in this rivalry, holding a strong 8-2 straight-up record against TCU over their last 10 encounters, although their performance against the spread has been less impressive, sitting at 4-6. Interestingly, the total points scored have frequently gone under in these matchups, with the under hitting in 7 out of the last 10 games between these teams. The Kansas Jayhawks enter this game as the more talented team on paper, possessing the potential to dominate if they perform to their full capabilities. However, this current Kansas team does not appear to be as dominant as some of their squads from previous years. They have shown vulnerabilities or chinks in the armor that make them susceptible to being upset. In fact, the Jayhawks have dropped 4 of their last 10 games, including a surprising loss to West Virginia despite being heavy favorites in that matchup. On the other hand, the TCU Horned Frogs have been formidable when playing at home, boasting an impressive 9-1 straight-up record on their own court this season. Their solid defensive play has been a key factor in their success, and they rarely suffer blowout losses. Additionally, historical trends support the underdog, as the underdog has covered the spread in 7 of the last 10 games between Kansas and TCU. The atmosphere at the Ed and Ray Skullmayer Arena will undoubtedly be electric, as this game represents a significant opportunity for TCU to make a statement. So the TCU Horned Frogs to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. In their single meeting last season, the game leaned more defensive than expected, with the teams combining to score 164 points, surpassing the projected total of 151 points. This season, however, both offenses have undergone notable changes, and the total points projection reflects this shift. According to KenPom, Kansas ranks 150th in tempo, while TCU ranks even slower at 228. Suggesting that this game is likely to start at a measured pace. The Jayhawks have struggled offensively in recent games, scoring 61 points or fewer in 3 of their last 6 contests, while their defense has been stout, holding opponents to 62 points or less in 4 of those games. Similarly, TCU has faced offensive challenges, scoring 65 points or fewer in 3 of their last 5 games, with their opponents also scoring 65 points or fewer in 3 of those matchups. Kansas recently participated in a game that produced only 94 total points, which was against a Cincinnati team that boasts a more potent offense than TCU. Last season's high-scoring game between Kansas and TCU appears to have been an outlier, as their recent meetings tend to favor defensive battles. The under has prevailed in 7 of their last 10 matchups, all of which have occurred since 2020, with at least one team scoring 64 points or fewer in 8 of those games. The under trend is also evident in Kansas' broader performance, going 23-10 in their last 33 games, and in TCU's games, with the under hitting in 13 of their last 19 contests. Notably, Kansas has seen the under hit in 15 of their games this season, including 9 of their last 10. Although the total for this game has risen slightly from an opening line of 132 points to the current line of 136.5 points, I still view the under as the most prudent bet. This game is projected to feature a slow pace between 2 teams that excel defensively but have displayed inconsistency on offense. Even though both teams are coming off respectable offensive performances, this matchup is more likely to devolve into a grinded-out defensive battle, particularly given Kansas' advantages on the defensive end. The absence of Adams for Kansas further diminishes their ability to dominate on the offensive boards, while TCU's strong perimeter defense will make it difficult for Kansas to score efficiently from long range. As a result, it is unlikely that Kansas will run away with this game. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Indiana versus Northwestern. The Indiana Hoosiers are set to face off against the Northwestern Wildcats on Wednesday, January 22nd at Welsh Ryan Arena. This highly anticipated matchup is sure to draw attention as both teams bring unique strengths to the court. Despite 2 notable blowout losses to Iowa and Illinois, Indiana has generally been reliable against the spread this season. I anticipate that trend to persist on Wednesday, with the Hoosiers covering the spread while playing on the road. The Hoosiers have a solid record of 5-3 against the spread in conference matchups and an 8-5 record when coming off a victory. Statistically, Indiana also has an advantage when it comes to shooting efficiency and rebounding. The Hoosiers shoot 46.5% from the field compared to Northwestern's 44.2%, making an average of 28 field goals per game, while the Wildcats average 26.4. Additionally, Indiana outpaces Northwestern on the boards, securing 38.6 rebounds per game versus the Wildcats' 35. So the Indiana Hoosiers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Both teams have demonstrated strong offensive capabilities this season, with each averaging well over 70 points per game. Indiana's games have resulted in an average total score of 150 points, which suggests that if both teams are accurate from the field, this matchup could easily surpass the projected total. Northwestern has been particularly consistent in hitting the over, achieving it in its last 7 consecutive games. times and 12 times out of 18 this season. Indiana has also hit the over in 4 of its most recent 6 contests. The Hoosiers play with considerable speed, averaging 73.4 possessions per game, ranking them 59th in pace among NCAA teams. Northwestern has recently increased its tempo, averaging 75.2 possessions over its last 3 outings. If the Wildcats maintain this fast pace, fans can expect a quick and high-scoring game. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Kansas State versus Baylor. Kansas State will make the trip down to Texas to face Baylor on Wednesday in a Big 12 matchup. The last time these two teams met, Kansas State secured a narrow 4-point victory on their home court. Kansas State is coming into this game following a tough road loss to number 9 Kansas, falling 84-74. Despite the defeat, they managed to cover the spread as 14.5-point underdogs. Meanwhile, Baylor is looking to rebound after dropping a home game to TCU, 74-71, in which they were heavy 12.5-point favorites. The spread for this game feels overly generous given that this is a battle between two talented Big 12 squads. While Kansas State has been struggling as of late, their roster is filled with skilled players who have excelled either with the Wildcats or at other competitive programs. Notably, Kansas State recently managed to cover the spread in their road game against Kansas, only losing by 10 points. Baylor's primary strength lies in their interior play, but Kansas State has the personnel to counter this. With Coleman Hawkins and David Engesson anchoring their interior defense, both players boast size and skill that should allow them to limit Baylor's Amir. Their presence, especially when they are on the floor together, could significantly impact Amir's production. Additionally, Baylor ranks only 58th in defensive efficiency, suggesting they might allow enough scoring opportunities for Kansas State to stay within the spread. Baylor enters this game on a 2-game losing streak, including an unexpected defeat to TCU. Their recent form raises questions about their ability to bounce back convincingly in this matchup. The Kansas State Wildcats are being undervalued by the betting line, largely due to their recent struggles. They haven't secured a win since December 30th and have lost 8 of their last 9 games. However, it's not as though Baylor has been dominating either. The Bears recently lost to TCU despite being favored by double digits, and their defensive lapses were evident in losses to both Arizona and Iowa State. This is far from the dominant Baylor team of recent years. Kansas State still has enough offensive firepower to be more competitive, and history is on their side, as they have won 3 consecutive games against Baylor. So the Kansas State Wildcats to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Both teams have shown a tendency to play at slower paces, and recent trends suggest that this game will likely hit the under. Kansas State plays faster than Baylor but is still ranked just 201st nationally in tempo. They are likely to prioritize slowing the game down to limit Baylor's offensive opportunities. Baylor, which ranks 279th in pace of play, will likely have no issue adapting to this slower tempo. Kansas State, which ranks 107th in offensive efficiency, has hit the under in 5 of their last 7 games. Baylor has also leaned toward lower scoring contests, going under the total in 4 of their last 6 games, including a recent offensive struggle against TCU. In recent weeks, both Kansas State and Baylor have consistently leaned toward the under, and I expect this trend to continue on Wednesday. The Wildcats have managed to hit the over only twice in their last 7 games, while Baylor is just 2-4 in over-under outcomes since the beginning of conference play. Neither team seems inclined to push the pace, with Baylor averaging 69.9 possessions per game, which ranks 211th nationally, and Kansas State averaging 69.8 possessions per game, a number that has dropped to 65 in their last 3 contests. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.